Springtrap is alive. Sorry, I should probably give a little context. One day, I was in the shower and thought, you know what? 8-bit baby is weird. And so I went on a hunt, researching, and what I found was much more interesting than just 8-bit baby. Hey guys, Alvexo here, and welcome to my FNAF theory. And this is my first theory on the game, but I think it might have a bit of weight to it, oddly enough. Okay, so if you think FNAF AR, what do you think of? Is it the gameplay, the characters, Markiplier's gorgeous face? Nah, it's probably the emails. And for a while, this game has been thrown to the side except for the emails. But I decided that the game would be worth looking into a little bit more, mainly the voice lines. In FNAF AR, most of the characters have voice lines, and some of them are reused, but others are much more interesting. Going through the characters, the Gen 1 animatronics have fairly normal voice lines, with them just being aggressive and mean.
What's that say? You didn't find me. Too bad.
The signs of time are almost gone for you.
Now, aggressive voice lines wouldn't be too weird if it wasn't for the toys being much more calm and normal, with even the weird ones fitting for a party setting.
It's not my fault I'm so much more famous than you.
Did someone order a new friend?
But Chica's voice lines tend to be a bit more aggressive for some reason.
I wonder if you'll ever get tired of dying.
That's very odd to me, and doesn't make much sense to me because the other main toys were so calm. It stumped me. Until I heard this.
Fault detected. Reboot.
Rebooting. Now, what would be the problem for them to reboot? Maybe it's them becoming too aggressive? But if they are meant to be calm, what happened? Well, I think someone had to be messing with the animatronics. And I think that someone is William Afton. Now you may look at me and say, what, but Afton is dead, or he's at the Pizzaplex, or blah blah blah. And I would agree that Afton can't be a part of this if it wasn't for one thing.
You will not be spared. You will not be saved. Let's see how many times you can be pulled apart and put back together again.
Huh? Those lines are weird. I swear I could have heard them before. But it can't be.
You will not be spared. You will not be saved.
Let me put you back together, then take you apart all over again. Let's see how many times you can be pulled apart.
Springtrap has the same lines as Nightmare and Nightmare Fredbear, but where do those lines come from? Well, none other than Ultimate Custom Night, and those lines were said to William. How would they hear this? How would Fazbear Incorporated know about any of this? And you can't just blame it on reused lines, because yes, there are reused lines in this game, but never from another character. It's always reused from the own character that says it originally. So there has to be some explanation. And I believe because William is back, and not only back, but he is working in Fazbear Incorporated again. Probably not the CEO, but he's clearly a big person in the company. And my belief is he's the one messing with the animatronics, and maybe even in charge of the AR project. Look at the animatronics a part of FNAF AR. There's the original, the toys, Springtrap, Plushtrap, and most of the fun times. Pretty normal choices, right? Yeah. Well, look at who isn't here. The puppet. One of the biggest parts of the FNAF franchise, and yet they aren't here. Instead, they include characters like Plushtrap and Balloon Boy. Feels weird, but a character that was planned to be a part of the game was Lefty. Lefty was supposed to be in the game before the game kinda died, so it's interesting that they are going to include the puppet's trap, but not the puppet itself. And you can't say it's because the puppet would be too hard to code or model, or because the puppet doesn't have an endoskeleton or whatever, because they have characters like Plushtrap and Mangle. Hell, even Shadow Bonnie is here. So what gives? Well, if you imagine Springtrap is a part of this project, then he wouldn't want the puppet here. So what's the story thus far? Well, what I believe happened was the AR project started production, making the original animatronics including Golden Freddy, and then William came back and started to mess with the animatronics, making them more aggressive. But sometime after that, someone didn't like that, so the toys got protocols installed in them to reboot them if anything went wrong. But after that didn't work, it was seemingly given up on. William then calls for Springtrap to be added, as that is how he sees himself, with him being spring-locked for so long now, and him being able to use this as a way to get his anger out after being stuck in hell for so long. He gets to include his family and baby and Ballora and kind of Funtime Freddy. I'm not really sure about that one, but he's clearly important to the lore since he keeps showing up everywhere. But at that point, after all the killings and aggressive attitudes, they've started to lose funding and the animatronics became built worse.
Soon, you will be as broken as I am.
Give me some energy so I can wake up my friend.
So the project was ultimately shut down before they could create the Lefty Bot. I personally think that this all makes sense, but there's still one big question. If Afton is alive, then how did he escape his hell in Ultimate Custom Night? Well, I believe it was agony. Afton experienced this for so much, he gained enough agony and was able to gain new life. That would give more meaning to the old man consequences line in Ultimate Custom Night. Because Cassidy didn't leave the demon to his demons, he couldn't move on, and thus got the chance to come back, but was not as strong and was slowly dying, so he had to have Vanessa steal old Fazbear paraphernalia so he could absorb the agony within them. But that's not enough, so he's been using the spring traps he sends out as part of the AR project to get agony or fear for him.
You will fear me. It is not your flesh that sustains me. It is your fear. I can taste the fear in your breath.
But yeah, that's my theory, and I hope you enjoyed, but if not, then remember, it's just a theory. A game theory, and good night.